Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. I'm Pinky Webb. Today on the program, Senator Ping Lacson reveals he was asked to withdraw from the presidential race to support the tandem of Vice President Leni Robredo and Senate President Tito Sotto. Thousands of supporters joined Robredo's rally in Pampanga and a show of support from the Venecia clan in Pangasinan. A Marcos-Robredo fight in 2022, the camp of Isko Moreno insists they still have a fighting chance. Robredo spokesperson Atty. Barry Gutierrez and Aksyon Demokratiko Chairman Ernest Ramel join us live. Senator Ping Lacson disclosed that he was asked to drop his presidential bid to pave the way for the tandem of Vice President Leni Robredo and Senate President Tito Sotto. Over the weekend, Lacson also said that Robredo's running mate, Senator Kiko Pangilinan, would also be asked to quit the vice presidential race. The veteran lawmaker said he rejected the offer and added that presidential bet Senator Manny Pacquiao and Manila Mayor Isko Moreno may have received the same proposal. Let's go straight to the source of the story. We have Robredo spokesperson Attorney Barry Gutierrez. Attorney Gutierrez, welcome to the source. Thank you so much for your time.
Good morning, Pinky. Happy to be here.
Okay, so Senator Ping Lacson, I'm sure you've read and heard about this, revealed that over the weekend, I think he was in Pampanga, there was an offer for him to actually withdraw from the presidential race, and that if he does that, it would be a Robredo Tito Sotto tandem. What is this all about?
I actually don't know. I quite honestly am surprised that he would claim that somebody talked to him. If somebody did, I don't know who did. It's certainly not from the campaign of VP Leni. We have been very, very clear on our position, that, particularly on the vice president, that her running mate of choice, the only vice president she is campaigning for, and who has no intention of withdrawing, is Senator Kiko Pangilinan. So I do not know who talked to Senator Lacson. I do not know the details of this supposed offer, but it certainly did not come from our campaign.
It did not come from the Leni Kiko campaign, that's what you're saying. But
yes.
Has there been talk of such that you've been hearing around prior to Senator Ping Lacson's revelation?
I did not hear anything specific about a conversation with Senator Lacson. And certainly, there has been no conversation at all regarding the possibility of Senator Kiko Pangilinan either withdrawing or even being asked to withdraw. The Vice President's position is very clear. She is going to be campaigning. She is going to be pushing for Senator Kiko as VP until the end of this campaign. And that is the position of the entire campaign. We have been working for him 24/7. We have been working double time to get his numbers up. And we are determined and hopeful to have him as Vice President by May 9, after the elections.
But let's just quote what Senator Ping Lacson said. Sabi po niya, sa akin may lumapit. Alam niyo ang offer doon sa Pampanga. Alam niyo ang proposal niya sa akin, ito daw, Senator, kaya naming paatrasin si Kiko at ipasok si Senate President bilang Vice President ni Leni. Basta mag-withdraw ka lang.
If somebody is talking to him, he should reveal who this person is, because it's certainly not from our camp. That's the long and the short of it. We are not pursuing any active efforts to talk to him. We are certainly not asking or even floating the idea of a possible withdrawal on the part of Senator Pangilinan. So I don't know who this person claiming to actually be able to do this is and what this entire thing is all about. But certainly it's not from our end.
But if I were just to go back, Attorney Barry, if such a thought actually really even propped up, it was the time that former Speaker Alvarez withdrew from Senator Ping Lacson and joined Leni Robredo and also adopting Tito Sotto. So if I were to just go back to the time that I heard of such a formula, it was back then. Do you think it could have been coming from the camp of the former speaker?
Well, again, I cannot speculate. I do not have information, and I do not want to speculate at this point. If Senator Lacson claims that somebody was talking to him about this, then he should be the one to be asked as to who this person is. But what I can confirm and what I can say with complete clarity is that this is not someone from the Leni Robredo Kiko Pangilinan campaign.
Okay.
Because,
You said a while ago, I wanted to focus on this. Sabi niyo po, there has been no effort to talk to Senator Ping Lacson. Could you repeat that, sir? Talagang hindi niyo po kinakausap si Senator Ping Lacson or his camp. We're talking about your camp. Yung kilala niyo pong mga tao sa camp ninyo na sigurado po kayo. Wala po sa inyong kumakausap sa kanya.
Certainly not recently. It's no secret that prior to the October 7 declaration of the Vice President, there were conversations happening. But ever since the official campaign started, to my knowledge, there has been no conversation. There have been no active efforts. The focus has been really on the campaign of VP Leni for President and Senator Kiko for Vice President. So, yes. Definitely. There has been no recent effort to talk to him coming from our end.
But what about the possible talk of unity? Di ho ba?
Well, again, the unity conversation happened way back last year. Now, I'm not discounting the possibility that there might be other people talking to different camps. But again, that's not coming from us, and I'm certainly not aware of any details of if that is indeed what is happening here.
Senator Ping Lacson actually went as far as saying that there were similar proposals also to Senator Manny Pacquiao and also Manila Mayor Isko Moreno. Maybe it's good to also get your position, reaction on this. Meron ho ba?
Well, again, from listening to what he said, he seems to be speculating. And again, I can say that from our end, and the Vice President has also said this, there are no active efforts to actually try and talk to any of the other candidates and bring them in. What we have been saying all along is we are not going to actively pursue this anymore. We are focused on our own campaign. But again, we are open to conversations. If they're the ones who want to talk to us, or if there are other people who are pursuing this, and then we're willing to talk. But at this point, that's not the priority.
But there's no initiative coming from your end. That's what you're saying, basically. You're open, pero hindi manggagaling sa inyo yung inisyatibo.
Yes, and this is a bit what we have been saying all along. Our position has not changed ever since the Vice President declared her candidacy, following the talks that unfortunately did not lead to a unified slate. Our position has been we will no longer pursue this actively, but if people want to talk, then we are open to talking.
Okay, I want to just really quickly go to your vice presidential bet, Senator Kiko Pangilinan. He got very emotional in the last rally. I believe that was in Pampanga.
Yes.
Even wherever it is you read it, sir, meron ho kasing tinatawag na Rosa, hindi ho ba? May Robredo, Sara. Meron pong si former House Speaker Alvarez. Gusto po si Leni Robredo tsaka si Tito Sotto. Lito ba na, siguro maraming mga pakiramdam, ang pakiramdam na kahit papano, hindi buo ang support. Kung how big of a support Leni Robredo is getting, to some it doesn't seem like her vice presidential bet is getting that same support. Then I want to go back to the rally in Pampanga, kung saan sabi nga nila, kung merong mga politiko na hindi nagtataas ng kamay ni Vice Presidential Candidate Kiko Pangilinan, nakuha naman daw niya yung mga farmers. At naiyak ho siya doon. He turned very emotional when that happened, ha?
Yes. And, it was really a very, very, I think, touching moment. And I think that that was a very symbolic moment as well. As you said, the reality of Philippine politics is that politicians will game the system. They will, some of them will support one presidential candidate and another vice presidential candidate, not necessarily the one that the presidential candidate is in tandem with. That's what has always happened in the history of our elections. But the farmers' endorsement in Pampanga, I think, is symbolic of what our campaign stands for, because it symbolizes that as far as Leni Robredo and the People's Campaign that has coalesced around her are concerned, our vice presidential bet, our only vice president we will be campaigning for to the end, is Senator Kiko Pangilinan.
There were a number of endorsements also, and I want to talk about very briefly the recent Pulse Asia survey, but we need to take a very short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Vice President Leni Robredo, spokesperson Attorney Barry Gutierrez. Sir, just a lot of things still to discuss. Now, let's go to the recent rallies. The Venecia clan throwing their support to Robredo in Pangasinan. How did this happen?
Well, just a few days before the scheduled rally was to take place, they reached out and said that they were actually willing to endorse VP Leni and declare their support. So that's what we saw that particular day.
And how big of an endorsement would that be? Because if we look at the vice presidential race in 2016, and if my research is right, at that time it was a big loss for Vice President Leni Robredo in Pangasinan. She lost about 500,000 votes. I think Marcos got 800,000 or so, and Robredo got about 200,000. How big of a siguro an endorsement would this be for Leni Robredo now seeking the presidency?
Well, let me start by saying that any endorsement by any local leader is obviously going to be something that is an addition to the campaign. We are fighting for votes. We are fighting to gain ground, particularly in provinces, which, like you said, in 2016, VP Leni did not get the highest vote total. So obviously, any endorsement will be welcome. And coming especially from the De Venecias, who are a prominent force in their home province. He was a former Speaker De Venecia, was of course House Speaker. He was a former presidential candidate. His wife and his son are both members of Congress. This will definitely be a boost to the campaign, coupled with the massive support from the ground coming from volunteers and supporters, many of whom made possible the successful rally just a few days ago in Pangasinan. I think that we have a good shot this time around of improving the VP's votes in that particular
But do you think that because of that kind of endorsement, Vice President Robredo will beat Marcos in Pangasinan?
I don't know whether it will actually lead to that, but we'll see.
Okay.
I definitely think that the race has become more interesting. I definitely think that this is going to be a boost for the campaign and for her chances. So we'll see.
And of course, there was the Pampanga rally. Police estimate it's about 220,000. Sabi nila, this is the biggest so far. But I want to go to my last question. I asked you this also the last time I spoke to you, Attorney Barry. How do you think your camp will fare in the next survey? You were pretty close to what you had estimated the last time I spoke to you. I think you said possibly 2 digits. Okay, it's +9. With this kind of momentum, 24% versus 56%, still a far second. How much of a gain are you expecting in the next survey?
I think the gain in the next survey will be even more dramatic. We're already seeing the beginning of her numbers snowballing. While the last survey reflected a substantial gain, it has not yet captured some of the bigger rallies. It has not yet captured the house-to-house campaign. It has not yet captured a lot of the game-changing endorsements that she has received more recently. So definitely, her numbers will continue to improve, and this is something that we will be able to win by election day.
But unity is still important. Would you say that among the rest of the candidates?
I think that unity will definitely be helpful. I think that if it is possible to achieve at this point, it will definitely boost the chances of the campaign. And again, 28 days is an eternity, so a lot can still happen, and we'll just have to wait and see as to what developments will still unfold.
As you mentioned, 28 days to go. Attorney Barry Gutierrez, sir, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras.
Thank you, Pinky. Always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. And coming up, we'll speak to Aksyon Demokratiko Chairman Ernest Ramel. We'll be taking a very short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Pinky Webb. Our source today, Aksyon Demokratiko Chairman Ernest Ramel. Ernest, welcome back to The Source. Also, thank you so much for your time. Okay, I'm going to start with the survey first, the latest Pulse Asia survey. I know you guys have a different survey, but if we were just first to look at the Pulse Asia, number 3, Mayor Isko Moreno at 8%. I think he went down by 2 percentage points, but that's still part of the marginal error. So it basically means it's insignificant. But if you look at numbers to numbers, that's still a -2. What is happening?
Well, that survey by Pulse Asia was captured March, I think third week of March 17th to the 21st.
Right.
And it did not get what happened a few weeks after that. Certainly, campaigns are the dynamics of the campaigns are very fluid. So every day things change, things happen. So we relied on a survey that we felt that is more recent and captured the most recent sentiment of our voters. Also, when Mayor Isko goes out, goes to the provinces, the 8 or 10% is not that so. Now, that's not how we feel it. That's how we see it. That's why we say we have a silent majority out there because of the toxic political environment between the sabi nga namin yung mga pula at mga dilaw. So we're caught in between their storm, no? So our supporters are afraid to also go out and say we are for Isko. Yeah, that's why we had yesterday Isigaw Mo si Isko rally in Manila.
Bakit matatakot ang tao kung hindi sila pula o hindi sila dilaw? Explain that to us.
Well, because of the toxic environment on the ground and on social media, you cannot just say, I'm for this and I'm for that without being bashed personally. Pag nakita mo yung social media kung paano ang mga personal na atake, even those who are actually supporting Mayor Isko, they are personally being attacked, not just the candidate, no. And it's gone toxic to the point that we just wanna, put our head straight in the game, no, in the plan. Mayor Isko exhorted his supporters last night na wag again makipag-away sa social media, wag makipag-away sa mga kapitbahay, sa mga kaibigan when they go around and campaign, and just be magpakumbaba when you campaign and when you talk about supporting Mayor Isko.
And this kind of narrative, yung sinasabi ni Mayor Isko na kung ayaw mo sa Marcos o ayaw mo kay Robredo, parang gano'n andito naman ako. How you put it is, may pula, may dilaw. Pero alam naman po natin yung dilaw ay kulay pink ngayon, but whatever. It's two colors basically saying fighting against each other. But my question there is that actually working for you, that he's the alternative? Because if we also look at the latest Pulse Asia survey, siya po yung second choice for president.
That's right. Even all of those surveys, SWS Pulse showing he's the top second choice. And may I just go to the recent Tangere survey that we had. April 46, This was conducted with 1,200 nationwide respondents, where Mayor Isko is second to Marcos. Marcos got 48, and then Isko got 24%, and Vice President Robredo had 24%. And on this same survey, it's showing that Isko is the top second choice with 38%, and then Ping Lacson at 17%, and only 9% chose VP Robredo. Now, if may may nagsasabi na withdraw Isko, but that's wrong. If Mayor Isko withdraws, it's showing that 45% of those who chose Mayor Isko will go to Marcos and not to Robredo, and only a mere 4% will go to Robredo. On the other hand, let me point this out. If Robredo is not in the race, 51% of her supporters will go for Isko. Okay? And 21% will go to Ping Lacson. So this shows that Mayor Isko has a fighting chance. Okay, it's right there. It's just a little more push towards the narrative of who has done very well during their tenure as executives. Marcos was an executive as Ilocos Norte governor for 9 years. Mayor Isko is is ending his term, pero in 2 years he has done so much, and ang dami na, no? Hindi ko na siguro kailangan enumerate pa because it's all out there. And then VP Robredo, in her own little way, has done some things with her budget in the OVP. And pero malinaw na kung sino dito ang may pruweba at may kakayahan to handle the crisis that we are in. Mayor Isko is a crisis manager. He doesn't give a damn about the left, the right, the red, the yellows. What he's focused on is the crisis at hand. And that's what is going to solve.
And what is this survey again, Ernest?
This is a Tangere survey done last April 4 to 6.
Was this commission?
With 1,200 respondents.
Opo. Was this commission?
No, this is not a commission survey by us. Tangere, when we heard that Tangere did their survey, we respectfully asked them for a briefing, and they naman indulged us with a briefing of the results. No? And it's showing here, again, another figure that's interesting. There's a question here. Kung ngayon ang eleksyon, sino ang hindi mo iboboto bilang Pangulo? So 45% are saying they will not choose VP Robredo. She's the most disliked candidate. On the other hand, the least disliked candidate in this questionnaire is Mayor Isko with only 2%. Now, this is very glaring because if yung iba sinasabi nila, take the fight to the Marcoses, o gusto namin suportahan ang makakatalo kay Marcos, the numbers here are clearly showing that it's Mayor Isko who has more chances of defeating Marcos Jr.
And Ernest, really the analysis you're giving me right here, we're talking about this because of one thing. What you're trying to tell me, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is if there was anyone that should withdraw, you're saying it shouldn't be Isko. You're saying it should be the Vice President because of the numbers that you had mentioned based on that survey. Am I correct, sir?
Well, I'm not calling for the Vice President's withdrawal.
Okay.
What I'm saying here is that there are possibilities here. And kasi their supporters are online saying that Isko should withdraw, should give way. But if that happens, when what they want happens, no? Kay Marcos mapupunta yung boto ni Mayor Isko, hindi sa kanila.
I see. Okay.
So, on the reverse, yung boto nila, kalahati ng mga botante nila will go to Mayor Isko. So I think that numbers are showing differently, no? What's being felt on the ground.
Okay. So let me correct that. It's not really asking for, it's a reaction to people asking for Mayor Isko Moreno to withdraw. That's why
right.
You're analyzing these numbers. But I still have a lot of questions. I just need to go on a very short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned.
Thank you.
You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our source today, Ernest Ramel. Okay, sir, let's just briefly talk about this, yung second choice kasi. While it is important, it seems a little far off. I don't know if you're going to agree with me, because if you talk about all the presidential candidates, none of them right now are really saying they're going to withdraw. So parang ano ho ba ang probative value ng being second choice kung wala naman pong aatras sa kanila?
Well, the probative value of being second choice is that there are many still soft voters or soft supporters amongst the Marcos numbers, or the Marcos supporters and the Robredo supporters. There could still be a shift in support towards a different candidate, and Mayor Isko, being the top second choice, is the second person they're going to look at when they change their minds. Let me take to another account here, the survey of Tangere, where it shows 33% of Marcos's 48% are saying or believed that the Marcoses should pay the estate tax. And this show that there are soft voters or soft supporters of the Marcoses.
I see.
And easily, like I said, 45%, 45% or 48% of the Marcos numbers, their top second choice is Mayor Isko. And this could be a shift that will happen in the next few days or weeks. No? And the same issue with VP Leni Robredo. When people begin to see that there's a shift or going towards Mayor Isko, the 51% of her supporters might go to Mayor Isko.
Okay.
So there are soft supporters here, and there are still 28 days to go. It's going to be lightning fast. I don't think it's going to be eternity. But people really have to step up. With the campaigns, their campaigns, our campaign, really have to step up.
Yeah. Aksyon Demokratiko Chairman Ernest Ramel. Sir, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Pinky.
Thank you for
having me.
joining
Thank
us
you.
here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.